also like the way Koreans behave in between them. But other aspects like actually shocked me a lot.
Wow,
so I was like, why these people like, why? Skinship, what is that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's harder than it looks. Is it that hard to give a hug? Like, I don't know. So I was like in my head like, wow, it's really different from what I'm used to. Hi everyone, my name is Paula. I'm from Barcelona, Spain, and I'm currently a model here in Korea and Seoul. Nice to meet you. I'm shy.
It's okay, you're adorable. So yeah, first maybe like 1 or 2 culture shock experiences that you had that were pretty big.
The weather, but that was like maybe not a cultural shock, more like a environment shock.
Okay.
Yes,
so
the weather
culturally,
was really extreme compared to what I was used to. Culturally, the fact that everybody was waving to each other to greet it like themselves, like waving, like
really?
This, like, 안녕하세요. I saw it in many videos, but seeing it in person, I was like, whoa, they really do it. I was like, we don't do this in Europe. And the fact that when you meet someone like in Spain, I don't know if you guys know, but when we greet someone for the first time, we give 2 kisses on the cheek. Like 1 and 2, like kind of like, I think French do 3. I might be wrong, but there's some other country that does 3. But culturally, we just greet with 2 kisses, or we give the hand, and if we're close, we hug each other. It's normal. But Korea is totally like, no physical contact. Don't touch me. Like, I might wave to you, but like that's it.
Wow.
So I was like, why is people like, why? Is it that hard to give a hug? Like, I don't know. So I was like in my head like, wow, it's really different from what I'm used to. So my thing, like, if I met someone, because my first time, I think I met friends, and I remember I had this like God of like, okay, I want to hug, but I cannot. So I remember this first greeting, I was like, 안녕하세요.
I don't know what to do. Yes.
Hi.
Immediately I'm thinking about that video I saw where people are like greeting, and like Americans go like this, and they do like the handshake, and then they put them together, and it like slaps the Korean person, because it's just so unnatural. But I'm sure they feel the same thing about the, reverse. I'm sure Koreans feel like touching, like
yes. Why do I have to do skinship? What is that? No.
Yeah.
So I think about it many times. Like, a Korean person who comes to Spain has to get used to Spanish culture, and like when they see that they have to give 2 kisses to the person that they just literally met, like how might that feel? I would be like shocked too if I was them.
I feel. I'm an American who likes physical touch, and kisses is just like
too much, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. I'm personally do not like it, but I grew up with that.
Yeah.
So now that I live abroad, I kind of realize that it's kind of weird for people who haven't like been raised in Spain. But for us, it's like so normal. Like, hey, how are you? Like, it's just so normal. And
it's literally the same thing as a hug.
Yes.
So you came to Korea you took like a 3-week trip, and then you finished your school. And then you ended up coming back a second time. And the second time, you had a different feeling you still had that homey feeling, but you had like a different thought.
It was different because I already like had this first contact with Korea, so I knew what was going on. And like the second time that I came here, I had like more like a clear image of what I wanted to do, what I already knew. Like, not that many cultural shocks, but I wanted to get into more than traveling, because I already did that the first time, and like I did all the tourist kind of thing that people usually do. It was more like getting to know people, making friends, like living the daily life, and like what do Korean people do here? Yeah. Yes, that's when like after experiencing more like a normal kind of life in here, and was like, actually I think it would be cool to live in here, because like I saw so many things that were more convenient than in Spain. Like, everything was so fast and so much developed than in Europe. And like, there were so many things that were like, wow, I wish this was in Spain. Like, even the most simple things, like for example, the locker for the door, like you use a password in here and it's like a smart locker, which I thought it's really smart and really safe. But in Europe, we still use the key.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person who loses the keys easily, but like my brother is.
I am. All the time.
For people who are like easily like losing stuff, for example, my brother, I always think about like, okay, we had this, he would never leave the keys and he will stop annoying me to open the door for him. So
if you lose your keys often, you should move to Korea. That's
change
how we
to
can
a smart lock. Smart locks Europe.
There you go. What are your thoughts of Korea now that you've lived here after a while?
It did change, but many things stayed the same from my first contact with Koreans, because back then when I was working, I didn't have like that many contact with Koreans living in Korea. I only knew like Koreans living in Spain or like that traveled a lot, and they were like kind of international or open-minded. And it's really different from a Korean raised in Korea, born in Korea, and never been anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because they're like more like into their culture than somebody that has been into other many countries. So I remember that the people that I used to like work with, like the passengers that I used to treat, were usually like kind of like the travel type, or like the kind of like I can speak in English, and if they weren't able to speak in English, I couldn't like communicate with them back then. So I didn't like really know. I just like got an idea of what they actually are, and like by what I saw on the internet, I could get an idea. But back then I was like, are dramas like seriously like showing how Korea actually is and how Koreans behave? I remember I was watching like a lot of dramas back then, and I would be like, so do they behave like this when they're working in a Korean office, or is it just like how they recreate it in a drama? Or like I had all these like questions about like how they interact with each other. And then after arriving here, I realized how Koreans react with foreigners and how Koreans react in between Koreans, and like how it's kind of like separated. Like Koreans behaving with a foreign person, they're usually, if it's not a Korean who is kind of international or like traveled a lot or speaks English, they're usually like, oh my god, there's a foreigner. So yeah, I got like few different interactions, and also like the way Koreans behave in between them kind of like matches with what I thought Koreans would be like, but other aspects like actually shocked me a lot, like the jerky that they have between like, for example, the older people, because we don't have this kind of jerky in Spain. Like the older you are, the more you have to respect the person. And like, for example, if you're working in a company, there's like some ranks and you have to follow those ranks. Like there's the 대표님 and there's like the workers under it, and like you have to listen what the 대표님 says. We do have a boss in Spain, but like
the hierarchy is so important here.
Yes.
Like
you need to follow like really strictly everywhere, wherever you go, even if you work in a cafe, even if you're with your friends and one of them is older than you, like there's always this like older people cannot be friends. They're always like older than you, so you have to like respect them. But in Spain it's like, I'm friends with everybody. It doesn't matter if they're 20 years older than me or 10 years older than me. If they're friends, they're just friends. So that like took me a while to like process too.
That's very true.
That's another cultural shock, by the way.
The formality of
the fact that my mom keeps telling me like, I'm so shocked that you know how to speak formal and informal language, because in Spain we don't have something like that. And the fact that Korean has like formal and informal, and the formal that you use in the company and the formal that you use with your people that you don't know, and then the informal, yes. She's like, how do you even? And I'm like, Mom, I don't know too.
So you live here now, you live in Korea, you have an E6 visa.
Yep.
A lot of people want the E6 visa.
It's really claimed one.
How did you end up getting the entertainment visa?
When I first arrived in here, I got to meet a girl from Spain who was modeling in Korea through another friend. She was a friend of a friend, and we met and we had a talk, and she was like, well, yeah, like she was telling me how she became a model in Korea. So she was like, yeah, I just found an agency, and like that agency wanted to work with me. We had a meeting, like we talked about like how my career could work as a model, what I can do in Korea. And she was like, if you're interested, I could like introduce you, because I think you could do well in Korea as a model. So I'll just send you the contact of my manager and you can talk with them, and like if they want to work with you, they will like sponsor your visa and you could like work in entertainment stuff, not only as a model but like in other like stuff like
TV,
YouTube, TV,
this,
acting and stuff like that. And like in Spain I had interest in it, but I never took it serious. I only did it like as a hobby or like as a, I was really camera shy in Spain, so I did shootings but I was like really awkward, so I was like, am I really like gonna be able to like force myself to be less camera shy and like do this kind of stuff, or like would I be ever able to like act? So I had this meeting with the manager, like not expecting anything from it. It went well, so they decided to sponsor my visa, so I started working with them and I signed like a 1-year contract with them.
which is really important to sign. Just a year, get a feel for it, 1 year, and then see how it goes. I'm also on an entertainment visa, and I know.
But it's hard, guys.
Yes.
It's really hard. It's harder than it looks.
That is very true. Maybe we should do that in another video, like an actual deep dive of the entertainment visa life, because that's, you're an entertainer here now. You entertain people. Do you do mostly modeling?
Like photo shooting, you mean? Or like, actually, photo shooting is probably the thing that I don't like the most.
What do you like?
I hate photo shooting. I'm still camera shy. I just see myself in photos and I mean like, I'm still thinking like, why am I so awkward? I'm always like looking at other models' poses and I'm like, okay, I should do it like this. Why am I not looking like this?
I'm sure you look stunning. I'm sure you look stunning.
That's in editing. But I love stuff that is related with acting. Like I'm not a pro. I never like took classes, but like everything that I did related with acting or like being into like this kind of environment, I love it. I love commercials. Commercials are so much fun to shoot. I love music videos. They're so much fun to shoot too. And like if it's like a little bit bigger role, I have so much fun. So this kind of stuff that I actually have to do something, I like it. Because shootings are cool, but I just feel like I'm still awkward and not fully comfortable with it. So.
We have a great personality, so you want the camera to be rolling rather than just clicking, you know? So it's okay. But it was wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for telling us.
Thank you for
your story.
having me. 구독, 좋아요 눌러주세요.
한번 더 좀 약간 귀엽다. There's the shot.
Yes. 구독, 좋아요 눌러주세요. Bye bye.
Thank you.
너무 귀여워.
Yeah.
아, 고생했어요.